you were teaching, but then you actually went off and did something other than fashion and textiles and research. You sort of start to shake things up elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I used to run brands and did the startup thing and did the teaching stuff, and also tried to work in the mainstream fashion industry, like the high street space and everything. And I suppose after many years of trying to think about how you attack the problems, it felt like, well, there's just something that's systemically in the way. Even if you could make nicer brand philosophy, nicer designs, nicer material, nicer circularity, whatever it is that you sort of tack onto like this infinitely growing beast, monster, sort of, waste producing machine that is the fashion industry. It just felt like, well, I can't see how any of this is ever going to really help, given that this sort of structural problems are so much bigger than the industry, and everywhere you look at something good that happens in the industry, you just look at like a mountain of shit. So it felt like, I don't know, at the time it felt quite normal to sort of go, well, this is not going to change, so let's change the entire way we run society or something like that. It sort of sounds quite stupid when I look back on it, but at the time I just thought this is a very sensible thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Different voices, different prods, different nudges, different push and pulls. And the thing with fashion and fashion and textiles and sustainability is that it is still growing in volume. Even though it's growing in range of activities, kinds of ways that we're trying to solve things, kinds of technologies, kinds of LCAs, life cycle analysis that we're using, like all of that. It's almost like an industry in its own right, and if you stop and look and you think, but what's changing? It's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah.
But I do think things are changing. I think in a way, we're turning out different kinds of designers now, and maybe that's starting to sort of feed through and have an effect. There's a huge appetite now for people to be in startups or create startups rather than go and work for big brands. A kind of distributed attitude that, I can get my experience and my income from lots of different places and work within my value system, rather than I want to be the next John Galliano. I think we still have all of those attitudes, but there's definitely more opportunities now for I never really thought that sustainable fashion would be this multi-local. I didn't think that was realistic, but I think that is where it's going to happen. That's where the change is going to really be in the long term.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to teach the students about that, get them ready to be these multi-local operators.
Yeah.